Hello everyone, this is Monisha from SSC, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today I am going to discuss about the types of solar cell materials. Let's see the today's content of the video. Contents are Introduction to the solar cell materials, types of silicon solar cell materials. There are four types, we'll see one by one with the advantages, disadvantages of solar cells and the future of solar cells. Let's see one by one. Firstly, introduction to solar cell materials. Solar cells are the devices that convert solar light into electricity. They are composed of different materials that absorb and convert the solar energy into usable electrical energy. Some of the commonly used materials for solars are silicon, cadmium, tellurium, and copper iodium. Silicon is the most common material used in a solar cell due to its abundance and efficiency. It functions as a semiconductor material. Semiconductor is known as the material in between the conductors and insulators, which can act as both conductor and insulator, absorbing photons and releasing electrons. And these electrons are then collected by the metal contact to create electricity. The silicon which absorbs the electrons that are then collected by the metal contact to the create electricity. Now see the other types of silicon solar cells. There are two main types of silicon solar cells. One is monocrystalline solar cells and polycrystalline solar cells. These monocrystalline solar cells are made up of a single crystals of a silicon and have a higher efficiency than polycrystalline solar cells. These polycrystalline solar cells are made up of multicrystalline silicons that are less efficiency to produce. There are another two types of silicon solar cells are thin filament solar cells and amorphous solar cells, which are made by depositing a thin layer of silicon onto a substrate. Thus, thin filament solar cells are lower efficiency than crystalline silicon solar cells, but they are more flexible and can be produced at lower cost. These are less efficiency, but they are more flexible and they can produce at a lower cost. Let's see one by one these types of silicon solar cells. Firstly, monocrystalline silicon. These monocrystalline silicon solar cells are made up of a single crystal stone silicon. They are having a higher efficiency rated than other solar cells, but they are also more expensive to produce. You can see the picture here. This is a monocrystalline. This is a one single crystal silicon. This is more expensive than other solar cells, and it is higher efficiency. Monocrystalline solar cells are easily recognizable by their uniform black color and rounded edge. You can see this is a black color from light effects. Some light effects are there, and it is a rounded edge. Now let us see about the polycrystalline silicon solar cells. These polycrystalline silicon solar cells are made up of multiple crystals of silicon. They have lower efficiency rate than monocrystalline solar cells, but they are cheaper to produce. This picture shows that polycrystalline solar cells. These are made up of multiple crystals of silica. Thus, polycrystalline solar cells have bluish color and square shape due to their manufacturing process. You can see there are bluish colors and square shape due to the manufacturing process because it forms by the multiple crystals of silicons. Therefore, it needs a and color. Shape and color will be changes by the manufacturing process. Now let us see next type of silicon cells. Next is thin filament silicon. Thin film Silicon solar cells are the type of solar cells that are using a thin layer of silicon to convert sunlight into electricity. As you see in a picture, this is a thin, there are lines in the picture. These lines are called thin film silicon solar cells. This is a line which is produced by a silicon, which is thin layer of silicons. It helps to convert the solar light into electricity. This thin film silicon solar cells are less efficient than crystalline silicon and monocrystalline silicon, but they are also less expensive to manufacture. It is uses a thin layer of silicon to manufacture, therefore it is a less expensive to manufacture. This makes a good option for applications which are cost and a major factor, such as building integrated photovoltaic BIPV. BIPV, you can see it in our companies and in our major buildings which are produced, which are integrated with the number of houses and number of apartments, number of rooms. We can use this thin filament silicon solar cells there, and it is a low cost, low expensive to installation and manufacturing. This is a good option for the major factors of applications. Now let us see another type of silicon solar cell, that is amorphous silicon solar cell. These are made from a non-crystalline form of silicon. We can see that silica has a two forms, non-crystalline and crystalline form. This amorphous silica solar cell are manufactured by the non-crystalline solar cell silicons. The lowest efficiency rate of all three types of solar cells. This crystalline solar cell is the first most efficient solar cell, and polycrystalline is second, and third is thin filament silicon, but amorphous is lowest than these three of silicon cells, but they are also the cheapest to produce. Amorphous silicons solar cells are very cheaper than the thin filament silicon solar cells. The amorphous solar cells are often used in smaller electronic devices such as calculators and watches due to their flexibility and low cost. Since it is a low cost and flexible, we can use it in anywhere, such as small electronic devices, calculator and watches, and small electronic items we can use for gaming, electronic small items. They are all uses the amorphous solar cells. Now let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages of silicon solar cells. Silicon solar cells have several advantages over other types of solar cells. They are widely available, easy to manufacture, and relatively high efficiency rate. These solar cells, silicon solar cells, have availability is wide in range, easy to manufacture, and their efficiency rate is compared to other solar cells. These are the high efficiency rate. However, silicon cells are also have some disadvantages. They where there are advantages, there will be some disadvantages too. They are the expensive to produce compared to the other types of solar cells. As I said, monocrystalline and polycrystallines are too expensive to produce and use compared to monocrystalline polycrystalline. Monocrystalline is highly expensive to produce, and compared to thin filament silicon and polycrystalline, polycrystalline is higher to produce, and when compared to amorphous and thin is higher expensive to produce. Like this, these are the expensive to produce than other solar cells, and they are requires a large amount of space to generate the significant amount of electricity. Where you can see a larger space required to generate the electricity. Some of the roof, they required a large space to generate the electricity. For example, terrace, for a single house, entire terrace required to generate the electricity from a solar light. Likewise, it requires a lot of space to generate solar electricity by using silicon solar cells. These are the disadvantages and advantages of a silicon solar cells. Now let us see the future of silicon solar cells. Silicon solar cells have been a dominant technology in the solar industry for many years. This is the dominant technology. At present also we are using the silicon solar cells to produce the electricity from solar light. In industry, it's a wide range of usage, but there are ongoing efforts to improve their efficiency and reduce their cost. For example, this is a best example and best future of the silicon cells. As we see that monocrystallines are a very efficiency and they are very cost to produce. So these solar cells are improving their efficiency and reduce their cost. And here thin film silicons are higher, lower cost and lower efficiency. The technology is ongoing to improve their efficiency at the same rate. Now the technology is like that. Then there are new technologies are emerging in a solar cells. Tandem solar cells and perovskite solar cells are eventually replacing the silicon solar cells as the most effective and cost effective option for generating solar energy. These two solars are generally replacing the silicon solar cells as the most effective and cost effective. Most efficiency will be there and cost is very less and for the generating solar energy. This about the silicon solar cells and advantages and disadvantages, and we saw the future of the silicon solar cells. I hope you understand the today's topic. Thank you for your time today. If you have any questions, please comment and do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you one and all.